All right, guys, we are back, and today's video is going to be on the subject of literally every single first round game that we saw today and yesterday. Well, not today and yesterday, but yesterday and the day before that. Saturday and Sunday. You get the drift. Okay, so I'm going to be completely honest. There is absolutely no need for me to talk about either 61 team, my team, or the Thunder. Definitely not Thunder. If you know, you know. After completely emptying all, and I do mean all of Ja Morant's loadout, no celebrations, and Shea having probably the worst game that I've seen from him, just point blank period, the Thunder absolutely blew them out by 56 points. But they cut the lead down by 5, so, just 51 points. I would like to say there's a lot to talk about this game, but no, that's probably the most interesting thing that happened in that game, that they got blown out so bad. This game was so great that despite the fact that I had to wake up at 8 a.m. and help people out with the food and stuff for Easter, I was able to sleep through this game because nothing happened. Nothing of consequence happened through this game. They went on their 22-point run, and I slept the rest of the game. I'm going to be completely honest, I needed that rest. And with the way that game went, I don't think I missed much. So, yeah. The reason we're not going to be really talking about this game versus the Heat is because A, my brother, who's a Heat fan, is asleep, and I would like to keep him asleep by not talking about this game. And two, more importantly, they just never really stood a chance. Like, they closed the gap up a little bit, but let's be honest, the Cavs kept pounding on them. I could pull up like the scoreboards and stuff to like really look at some certain numbers, but like honestly, I don't think that'll be necessary for these two games. Just know that Donovan Mitchell had only 2 threes made, and he has 30 points. Yep. Darius Garland had 27 points. Ty Jerome had 28 points. All of the 3 guards showed out, and Tyler Hero looked like a mini version of Steph Curry. So yeah. If you were wondering how the 1 seed games went, they went as expected. The 1 seed at home won their games. So, all right, let's talk about some other games that actually matter, though. I'm not surprised that the Pacers won. I'm not surprised that they won in that fashion. I'm going to be completely honest. Giannis by himself is not enough. Their offense is entirely limited. They don't now have enough on-ball creators to make this series interesting to me. And when Dame comes back, he is not going to be the Dame that you want him to be. So let's just all agree, all of us that have common sense, that the Bucks are not only going to not win this series, but they're going to probably lose this series in embarrassing fashion. They do not have enough to keep up with the offense. Their defense is not what it used to be, and it's close. And Doc Rivers is coaching. So if you think that the first game went bad, it's probably going to go bad again in the second game because he's not going to make the necessary adjustments. He's just going to bank on that the returning of their second star player is going to be enough. How do I know this? He did this with Joel Embiid. He did this with Joel Embiid and Harden, and he's probably going to do it again with Dame and Giannis. Only it's flipped this time. So the primary option that is a big is not there. And this is there in this scenario, and we're waiting for the star guard to return. Either way, the Pacers are going to beat this team in 6 games. So not much to talk about there. Let's see. I think that's every boring series that has happened so far. Every boring game that's happened so far. I missed one. Let's transition into talking about the Celtics and the Magic. The Celtics and Magic did exactly what I thought they were going to do. The Magic defense was good. Their offense was not enough. And I say this despite the fact that Paul had a 30 bomb with really good efficiency, really good shooting, and his perimeter shot was actually really good. He did really well in that game. That being said, if we would just like to look past him and Franz also had a pretty good game. I'm going to say a pretty good game because I'm not saying 22 points isn't the world's greatest, but I'm going to be honest, they had more than enough forwards to throw at him. So, yeah. And then if we're looking over at Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, you two disappoint me in ways that I cannot talk about on the internet. And you do it often. Now, one of these players is fighting through an injury to their knee and has been fighting through it for months now. So I'm not going to get on Jaylen Brown, the reigning Finals MVP, even though I think his Finals MVP is Mickey as hell. It probably should have gone to Jason Tatum. I'm going to talk about their supposed superstar in Jason Tatum. No, I'm just fucking with you. I think Jason Tatum is still probably like, based on his regular season performance and the fact that we're just now getting to the playoffs and I can't hold past years against him, even though I know who he is. Simply based on the game that I saw, brother, what happened? And before you say he's fighting through a wrist injury, he has been like this for years. I have seen him do this often. I don't think it's the wrist injury. Like, it might be bothering him a little bit, but no, that's probably just who Jason Tatum is. He cannot be your playmaker. The team has realized this, and they made adjustments to make sure that he doesn't have to do that. That's why they have 3 really good guards who can do it by committee. And Derek White is exactly who I thought he was. Probably the most impactful role player who should be an all-star, but probably will never get one in his life. Unless they're the first seed next year, and they're like, honestly, I think he probably should have been an all-star last year. Maybe that's it was a hot take when the all-star game was coming around last year. But no, the more you watch the Celtics, you realize how important Derek White is to them. I'm going to be completely honest. He's either their second best player or their third best player given the night. And it flips like that all the time. Hell, sometimes he can be your best player, because today he looked like their best player. And it's not just because the Orlando Magic didn't have the perimeter defense that could actually halt him because Jalen Suggs is injured. I genuinely think he probably would have got that 30 points regardless. Because, yeah. That. Oh, by the way, in case you were wondering, when I said, oh, well, Paulo had 30 plus and Franz had 22. So it was a close game? No. The rest of the team combined had 27 points. Wow. No, it was not a close game. The Orlando Magic, I think they put up 80 points. Let me double check that real quick. I'm not going to edit or anything. You're just going to have to bear with me while I double check that. Pretty sure, though, that he did not do... The rest of the team did not do well. Celtics, I'm going to pull up the score. It's going to show me that shit real quick. 86 to 103. Yeah, it was not a close game. It felt like every time the Magic got close that the Celtics would pull away. And that was a similar feeling that I got to the Miami Heat game. Except I never thought for a second that Miami could win the game. That's the difference. I never thought for a single second that Miami could win that game. Because literally, Tyler Hero would have like the most crazy shooting night ever. And I'm just like, oh my god, he's Steph Curry. We'll get to Steph Curry in a minute. Calm down. And then, like, literally seconds afterwards, someone else on my team would be like, yeah, that's cool. There's 3 of us, though, that can hit these threes. So, I'm going to keep shooting them. Hey, even though Donovan Mitchell was not hitting his threes, that brother still got 30. So, yeah. I am a tad bit concerned about his free throws percentage. I don't know what's going on with his free throws, but I'm quite sure he'll be getting that together. Hopefully. He did tweak his ankle a little bit, but he's fine. He played through it, which seems to suggest that he's fine. Another person who also, I feel like Tatum also tweaked his ankle. I could be wrong about that one though, so don't hold that to me. Sheesh. Hold on. We can talk about the West teams that are like left, because Pistons next. We'll get to that one. That's my favorite series so far. We'll get to that one. All right, hold on. Actually, let's just talk about it. Pistons Knicks, so I can just wrap up the Eastern teams real quick. Pistons Knicks. So this is the 3-6 matchup, and this is the matchup that I think will be the closest series throughout the playoffs, because I have this one going in 7 games. And yeah, you just don't go to 7 games without it being a close series. And yes, I am aware that there have been 7-game series where one team has blown out the other team. There have been repeated blowouts. That was what the 2016 finals looked like. That being said, I am predicting the rest of these games to be pretty close in score. Also, the Knicks went on a legendary run. I think it was 20 points to 2 points. They did this at home. I do not expect them to do that again. Like, that's not going to happen. JB Bickerstaff is going to make the adjustments for this team's defense to be really good. Their offense is something to worry about. I think they can get the offense done by committee, similar to what I thought the Orlando Magic could do to steal at least a game. The difference is I think the Detroit Pistons offense is not only better than the Magic's offense at its best, yes, at its best, but I think their defenses are similar levels at their best. But if you also just look at the defensive numbers, as of late, and late being like in the last 30 games, or at least since January, the Pistons are just one of the best defenses in the league. Offenses, no, not even close. By the way, don't worry about what the shirt says. It's something sarcastic. I had to pick this up from my wardrobe in 2014, I think. Yes, I can still fit shirts from 2014. It's just the sleeves are a little bit shorter than they used to be. Yeah, we're not gonna really talk about that game. I think Jalen Brunson had a pretty fine game. I can't really, because I'm talking about literally every single team, I can't really give you an in-depth rating of these things. I did watch all of these games. I'm not going to give you an in-depth rating of all of these games though, because like, I'm gonna be honest, watch the games yourself, please. You're not coming to my channel for a recap. I'm gonna be honest. No one is here. I'm talking to the void. I am just recording to record. As far as that game went though, Cade had a okay game. It was not enough. He needed to have a good game. They really took Jalen Brunson out of the game by having Ausar Thompson on him. I'm pretty sure that's Ausar Thompson. We're going to be talking about his twin later, so keep that in mind. I could be scrambling them. But Ausar Thompson did a really good job on Jalen Brunson. Jesus Christ. You know what I meant. On Jalen Brunson, all right? Beef Stew did pretty good. I feel like his minutes should be limited a little bit more, but he can do better. And Jalen Duren did pretty well in his first playoff series and first playoff game, to be quite honest. I'm pretty sure Jalen Duren's this is second year. It is second year. I'm pretty impressed with this team so far. I think they can go further, and that's why I have them winning the series. That could be my bias, and that could be a reason why I'm probably not looking at the series in depth. That could be. But to be fair, I'm sorry, New York. I just don't believe in you. You paid all of these draft. You paid in a lot of draft compensation. You paid in a lot of money to lock up this team, and I'm just not impressed. I've not been impressed since opening day, really, because I saw how you matched up against the Celtics, and I saw that you got throttled for trying to be a worse version of the Celtics, and that it didn't work. I saw that you didn't even try the power friendship before immediately going out to get Cat, and that Cat was the best player on your team this year. I'm going to be honest. Jalen Brunson, they are overly dependent on you, and Cat is their best player. That is something to be worried about. I was questioning at times, could Cat be the best player on this team, because he's going to have to take the load off of Brunson, and it's not working. It's not working in the way that I envisioned it, at least. I don't know if this is what they envisioned. Could be, could not be. But it's just fine. It could be better. It'd be a lot better, in my opinion. Let's talk about the teams out west. These are the series that people should be really tuning into. Well, besides the one that I just talked about for the East one. But this is the one you should be tuned into. This is the one you should care about. 4-5 matchup in the Clippers and Nuggets, which that game was amazing. It went to overtime. It was godsend on the first day. I'm just gonna tell you this real quick, and I don't know why no one is talking about it. I don't care what the media at large says, and I'm not just talking about the media at large. I am talking about some of my favorite creators too. They have not talked about this. Kawhi had 7 turnovers, and no one said anything about it. And now I don't want to pull up and sound like a Russ defender, because I don't like the guy at all on the court. He is a great person off the court. On the court, I hate that guy. That is my biggest op, and I will always root against him because he plays like an idiot. That being said, he was a very impactful player this game, and inside of Russ, there are 2 point guards. The biggest piece of dog shit and the GOAT. He is more often the biggest piece of dog shit, in case it was unclear by my hating tone and my condescendingness on him. But if you couldn't tell, you probably... So, not only did Jokic had a near triple-double, he was rebound short. This is one of the games where I'm actually gonna pull up the box score. Box score, Nuggets, Clippers. Oh yeah, there's another Western series that I have to talk about, but that's probably like the one that everyone's expecting niggas to talk about. So I'm gonna get to that one at the very end, but it's not the most entertaining series. So yeah, it's gonna be an entertaining series, but the game it was not entertaining. So we'll get back to that. Let's talk about this. All right. Yeah, Kawhi had 7 turnovers. They're not talking about that. I have no idea why they're not talking about that. That seems like a really big reason why they lost the game, especially considering how like that was the issue. He shot the ball really well. Don't get it twisted. He shot very well. Now the volume wasn't where I wanted to be, but I can't. Those weren't out of the offense shots, and they were pretty tough shots. So I won't grill him too badly. Just know that if he continues to play like this, I will be talking about it because no one else is apparently. And Kawhi, even to the people that I normally look for like basketball like information from and talks, they never get on the guy if he has a night like this. But like no one's talking about it, and I think it's just because they're quiet. They're not expecting much from him because he's been injured in the playoffs so many years and times. It's like you're just like accepting this. This is not good, and if Kawhi is supposed to be the best player on this team, he is not showing it. It looks like James Harden's team, and Kawhi just happens to be on it. But less is more. Norman Powell they got on Norman Powell a lot. People got on Norman Powell really badly. He was fine. Now, he looked bad in the minutes that he actually played, but if you just look at the box score, this is why you have to do both, kids. If you look at the box score, his game was not nearly as bad as people were making out to be. They act like he played like the worst fucking person of all time. No, he didn't give you the 24 points that he's averaged this season. I'm only expecting like 18 from him anyway. He gave me 12. That's not great, but it's 2/3 of the way there, and he's a role player. I'm not going to hold it to him. Zubac had a great game. Him and James Harden were probably the 2 engines of this game. They played very well, and it is a bit sad, though, to see that. Let's talk about this real quick. If we're going to... I pulled up this because I think maybe I missed something. The assists were about the same. Jokic generated 95% of those assists, and on the opposing team, the Clippers, most of their assists were from James Harden. He ran the offense magnificently, I might add. Let's see. The points in the paint, the Clippers won that battle, but they lost the war eventually, and that's very interesting. I think people need to talk about this. Again, though, this is where I think the game was won for the Nuggets and lost for them. They had 20 turnovers. 7 of those were from one player, Kawhi. And the Nuggets only had 11 turnovers. And the assist difference between the two of them isn't that bad. It's not that different. 25 assists, 24 cents. I would like to see those both go up. Not really sure about that, but that's probably not going to happen because Norman don't pass the ball. Powell is on the team, so there's that. The blocks, the defensive intensity that I saw from the Clippers is leaving a lot to be desired. And I'm saying that because they were a good team at the tail end of the season. And that's who I think they actually are versus what the record shows. But that being said, they need to actually like pull up, show up. You need to do this. I need to see that defense because that was there's a free throw discrepancy, but it's not that big. Honestly, completely honest, and that can be explained easily by Russell Westbrook and Aaron Gordon being on one team and the other team having. Yeah, you don't see any. You're not even thinking about any good drivers on this team, are you? Yeah, neither am I. They don't really have those. Derrick Jones Jr. is fine, but he's not going to draw free throws because he doesn't have the ball in his hand nearly as much, and he's not going to take it up the court to actually get into the paint and keep these guys in foul trouble. Here's another thing that pissed me off about this game, the coaching. One guy is a replacement coach for Mike Malone, so not going to get on his ass. But Tyronn Lue, yo, dude, my guy, Jokic was in foul trouble this game. You did not go at him enough for my liking. Like, you should have been able to get Jokic out of the game for fouling, especially because he was getting frustrated. He got frustrated very early and made some really bad fouls. They would have likely taken him out of the game if you actually attacked him. You weren't looking to attack him. I have no idea why that was the case, especially because, remember, their backup center option is DeAndre Jordan. That nigga is not getting any playoff rotation unless something catastrophic happens. And getting him out of the game would have been a nice way to do that. They also really need to win one in Denver because I do not think they're unbeatable at home. I think they'll win their games at home, but I don't think they're unbeatable at home. So that needs to be fixed. ASAP. Rocky. Oh my goodness. It's disappointing, but it's not surprising. It's disappointing, but it's not surprising. The Clippers really choked this game away. They had a massive lead. I can't tell you how big the lead was, but it was massive. It felt massive too. There's two things. It wasn't even just like a shooting variance thing. By the way, James Harden also just played his ass off. He shot well, passed well, he tacked the defense well. That being said, if I'm Tyronn Lue, I'm like, dude, you can't. Why did we go away from the pick and roll? I have no idea. Maybe it was to get Kawhi more involved, and Kawhi wasn't playing a lot of minutes. Here's the other thing. MPJ got played off the floor. He was that bad. I don't think he was that bad of a player. I'm going to be honest. Russ should not be in your closing lineups. That's just... Now, Russ had a good game, all things considered. Do not look at his field goal percentage because that is not indicative of what I think of him in this game. Even though it's what happened, yes, it's what happened. It's accurate, but it's not on point. It's not going to tell you the entire story. He did not shoot well, obviously. Geez, we're in 20 minutes, and it's because I'm finally talking about an actual game instead of just being like, oh, this game was like very obvious and boring. I mean, a lot of them were pretty obvious. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, this one and this part in this particular series, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Russ had some very clutch shots. He had some very clutch rebounds, and even though he made some even though there were still some Russ decisions, the Russ decisions really didn't bite him in the ass that much. They will over the course of the series. Don't get it twisted. But this game, I have to report on what actually happened versus what I think and what should happen. I don't know. Report on what happened. Duh. Yeah. I don't see them replicating this. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's not gonna happen. And this game went to overtime because of a couple of things. Russ's really clutch shot, and I think that helped them get into overtime. In fact, that the Clippers did what the Clippers do best. Choke. They choked. That's what they're noted for. All right. That is enough about that game. It's time to talk about probably the most fascinating game of last night, because I just talked about the most fascinating game of the day before. And then we'll talk about the Lakers because, oh, Mr. LeBron, wherever you are, you play for the Lakers, and you know how to... He didn't ball as much as he should have, actually. We'll get to that. Rockets. Jeez, hold on. Rockets, Warriors. My dad made a bet for for the Rockets to win and cover. I was looking at him like, what the fuck? No. By the way, I will tell you this. I also told my dad to bet for the Clippers, and he bet for the Nuggets. They didn't cover though, so yeah, I said bet Clippers because I thought they were gonna win the game, and I felt pretty vindicated until they fucking choked it away. So yeah, but yeah, yeah. Anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, not Nuggets, Rockets. So many California teams, too many of them. Thank God Sacramento was eliminated. Anyway, Jesus Christ. No, we'll talk about the Lakers actually. It's what people care about, and then we'll get to Steph. Lakers and Wolves. I'm gonna be completely honest. There's not a lot to talk about this game. Ant had 9 assists and 1 turnover. That should tell you how this game went. He did not shoot the ball incredibly well inside the arc, but his 3-point percentage was amazing. He shot the 3 ball very well, and it also vindicates and justifies why he's been shooting so many 3s throughout the year. I have no idea why people were getting on him for making his 3s. It was so annoying. That talking point was so annoying. Why is he shooting so many 3s? They're going in. Shut up. Just because your modern day player that reminds you of Michael Jordan isn't playing like Michael Jordan because it doesn't make sense for him to try and play like Michael Jordan all of the time, doesn't mean that he is not a good player. Doesn't mean that he's regressed. It doesn't mean that the Timberwolves team would be better off with him playing like that. It shows that they're better off with him shooting the 3s. Especially because they have Julius Randle on the team now. Especially because Rudy Gobert is still on the team. Now, Rudy Gobert got played off the floor. That's something that is going to be a big favor for the Lakers. They need to do that. But here's just another thing. They need to make Mike Conley unplayable. They need to do that soon. I think those two are defensive liabilities in this series. And I know you're saying, how is Rudy Gobert the defensive player of the year or defensive liability situation? The Lakers have too many guards that can pull him out of the paint, where he's the most effective at guarding niggas at, and pull him out. And they're not going to have they're not going to have Jackson Hayes minutes. Let's be honest. So unless Rudy Gobert is playing all of the Jackson Hayes minutes and not playing any of the other ones, it doesn't make sense for him to be here. I thought Naz Reid was going to be actually really injured when I saw that play. The play was, I think he got hit in the face, and he was on the ground for a while. It was really like that. The Lakers defense was piss poor in my opinion. Now this is a shooting variance game. I don't want to lie to you and tell you what it isn't. It's a shooting variance game, dog. That is what it is. Just 100% what it is. The Wolves shot really well from three. All of them, except like, I think McDaniels didn't shoot well, but like, I'm sorry, I don't expect McDaniels to suddenly grow a 3-point shot. Alexander Walker was good for them on 3-point shooting. I already told you that Ant was good. His decision making was also really good. They need to force him to give the ball up more though. Like, that needs to happen more, but they need to actually generate turnovers out of this. The Lakers are also turn over the ball way too much in that game for my liking. Especially considering you have Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron as your ball handlers. That was disappointing to me. Also, LeBron can have 19 points, but it's got to look better than that 19 points that I saw. To be honest, I don't think he should have 19 points against this team. Who can guard you on this team? Do you really think Julius Randle is going to continuously lock up my Glorious King? I don't think so either, man. I just don't. That shouldn't be happening at the bare minimum. I'm going to be completely honest. And then Austin played better than LeBron. It wasn't good enough in my opinion, but Austin did play better than LeBron. And Luka was the one that showed up this game. I was about to rag on Luka and be like, man, oh man, it doesn't feel like you're being as impactful as you were in Dallas. He's not the fucking only guy on the team who's playing offensively. Why was he the only one that was played really well though this game? Luka was like Luka inspired people to think that they could actually win this game. And yeah, that was about it. Couple really cool bank shots. A lot of Anthony Edwards talking his shit and throwing up signs that I'm not sure I can put on YouTube because they might get me deported or something. I don't know. But yeah. By the way, did this is unrelated to basketball? Did y'all know the Pope died? Like, isn't that crazy? He died on Easter Sunday. Isn't it crazier that JD Vance was in the room with him minutes earlier and that no one is immediately jumping the fence and being like, pulling out their flags and going, he did it, I know he did it. I'm sorry, but if you're Catholic, this should be like your wake-up call and be like, I don't think this team, me doth think that these guys be comically bad. Yeah, but we have to get to the Warriors game. Yep, that's what I was going to talk about, the Warriors. So, let's keep it honest. This was not, and I knew this wasn't going to happen, but for some reason people thought this was going to be a shootout. Of course not. It was a rock fight. It was a stick fight, to be honest. They weren't even throwing rocks. It was a stick fight. And I don't mean a stick fight between your niece and your nephew where your niece eventually cries out because he hit her a little bit too hard. I'm talking unga bunga basketball. This looked like a game from the 90s. This looked like a game from the early 2000s, and the score backs it up. The final score was 85-95. I haven't really talked about a lot of the final scores. Do you know why that one stuck out to me? Besides because it was more than enough to cover the parlay that my dad made in my name. Gambling. Yeah. DraftKings, hit me up. I need money. But, no, regardless of that. No, I wanted to tell you this because it's important. Steph looked like God, and Fred VanVleet tried to imitate God, and it did not go well. Fred VanVleet, not only was his shot selection, I'm not just talking about, like, what you saw in the shot distribution chart. I'm talking about if I laid it out for you, like X's and O's, and I put the basketball court. He was taking some of the deep threes, and I'm like, those are Steph threes. You are not Steph. Why are you taking those threes? This is sacrilegious. Sacrilegious coming from me. Oh. But yeah, no, he was taking threes, and I'm like, what are you doing? By the way, Jalen Green, what are you? Buddy, you made it to your first playoff series, and you looking extra funny in the light, bro. It's only one real red team in the playoffs, and it's not them, bro. These niggas is trash. Ah. Oh my god. Yeah, but like, no, for real. For real. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with y'all. Yeah, no, Jalen Green had a terrible game. Fred VanVleet had an okay game. I know he has to take these shots because he's their only real perimeter option. But, Doc, the Steph threes, you need to cut those out of your diet. And you may need to round you in for that one. Because what was that? What the was that? Sengun, why were you getting... I know why you were getting locked up, clamped. What the got locked up, won't let me out. Y'all locked up that second seed to get locked up in the first round. Now, I knew the Dubs was going to dub y'all niggas. But this is insane, bro. Y'all offensive players sucked. And here's the thing y'all need to do. This is what was actually winning y'all the game. Y'all had a small ball lineup that was making the Golden State Warriors, that team known for their small ball, actually uncomfortable. Y'all had more offensive opportunities than them. I'm going to look at the rebounding battle was so firmly won by the Rockets. And I'm not just saying this because I watched a recap for the game. I was watching the game. I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro. I've never seen a playoff game where the bench is doing so well and they put the starters back in and they suck. Amen Thompson, you are goated. You are so... I love him, bro. He is my favorite in this team. Them clamps, legendary. Legendary clamps. Hall of Fame clamps. If either one of those guys wins the Defensive Player of the Year, either one of the Thompson twins wins it, or hell, even if they never win the fucking award, right? If they never win the award, it's because the other one was in Dallas, not Dallas, in Houston and or Detroit. Whichever one of them was having a comparable season, they were like, I don't know who to give it to. Oh my God, who should we give it to? Which they might be the first co-defensive players of the year. They should be, honestly. They didn't. Them clamps is legendary, and they play bigger than they are. Run this man at your small ball center. Run both of these niggas at small ball centers. Oh my God, clamped. But if we're talking about clamps, bro, we got to talk about the niggas who lit y'all up. Jimmy did what he was going to do to y'all. I told you Jimmy Butler was going to make an appearance. And Steph Curry, my God. That boy is a different beast and the same animal. That motherfucker living up to that Kobe commercial. But are you a different beast and the same animal? He understood what the fuck that meant, Kobe Bryant. That nigga is different. Oh my God. I'm a Cavs fan, so I remember the torture he was giving to us, bro. But none quite like what he does to the Rockets. And he always does it to you niggas. So you shouldn't be surprised. That 30 bomb, I'm telling you, there's 30-point bombs and then there's 30-point bombs. That nigga dropped a nuke on y'all. I'm telling you, the shot selection from Steph. By the way, half of the shots he made, if your favorite player went off and did that, you'd be like, oh, this is the greatest game he's ever played in the playoffs. This is just a normal Steph game. Steph threes are Steph threes for a reason, and you saw them last night. Like, oh my. Yeah, they just kept coming too. It was gross, honestly. It was ridiculous how they were doing it. I couldn't. If that were me, that would leave me in a deep depression. Good thing it's not me. Yeah, that's gonna have to do it. I talked about every game, every series so far. I did not talk about them in the same depth that I would probably like to, like if I was gonna give them individual videos, but I'm not going to. These are the first games of the NBA playoffs of 2025, and I hope that you enjoyed them, and I hope you enjoyed the video as well. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that nonsense that real YouTubers tell you to do that. If you hate the video, please tell me why you didn't like the video in the comment section. I am bidding for algorithm farming, yes. Goodbye!